You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
First and foremost, Merry Christmas to all our Go Time Dolphins listeners. Happy Hanukkah, I know that's past. Happy Kwanzaa. If you don't celebrate Christmas, it's just a normal time of the year for you, I guess. But, you know, whatever you've done over the past 24 to 48 hours, I hope you've been surrounded by your loved ones. If you do celebrate Christmas or any kind of religious holiday at the moment, I hope you got a bunch of Dolphins memorabilia. I got this new Dolphins hat. I want to say you got that new Dolphin jumper because I haven't seen that from you before. Is that new?
No, this is not new. I wore it once. I wore it in London actually.
Snap! Yeah.
I did. I wore it in London, but I gotta fill in it. Like I'm not. It's supposed to be fitted, and this is not. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my weight up. It's not as fitted as I would want it to be. But man, 7-7, Miami Dolphins going for their 7th straight win. Listen, I know my co-host ain't ready to say the P word yet, but I promise you this, it's getting real close.
So I had to mute him because I said we're not doing playoff talk. Dude, muted. Dude, I will be this petty. I will do this all day long. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Bro, did you just mute me, bro?
I had to. I literally said, if you bring up the P word, you're muted. Not doing it.
Bro, you just muted me, dog.
I had to mute you okay, again, for those who have been there from the beginning or for the past few weeks and months, you know that me and Charlie don't really talk when it's game time. Now, granted, the Dolphins haven't played on Sunday, but I got a message from Charlie, P word. We're not doing it. We're not doing it because, listen, shout out to Josh Kasker, over at Dolphins Talk. Same old Dolphins. I truly believe the Dolphins will beat the Saints, but those same old Dolphins will find a way to lose to.
Hey! We not doing the P word. We not speaking negativity, then, bro.
I literally started off by saying, I said we are beating the Saints.
Now listen.
We are winning against the Saints.
Nah, bro.
We are beating the Saints.
If we're not doing the P word, we're not speaking negativity into the atmosphere, bro. We're not doing that. So look, we're gonna start this thing over again. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. I got my co-host with me, Kadeem Simmons, always for the fans and by the fans. Y'all know what time it is. Look, man, I got my specs on for the first time since we've been on YouTube.
I was going to say to you that is this the first time you got the specs on show as well? Like, this is why we're host and co-host. This is why we're going to say Will Fuller and Devontae Parker, but we'll find a duo, whether it's like Brandon Jones and Javon Holland, or like Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis, or shout out to your boy, friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt. You finally got the picture. It's posted. Whether we're Robert Hunt and I don't want to be Jesse Davis, so maybe Robert Hunt and Michael D. I don't know. Like,
why don't you just go to the obvious? Why don't you just go to Byron Jones and Xavier Howard?
Because Xavier Howard might not be here next season. I'm thinking the guy that's going to be here for the long term. So, like,
Hey, listen. So Miami Dolphins are 7-7, fighting for a playoff seat. The New Orleans Saints are 7-7, fighting for a playoff seat. Something's got to give. I mean, I'm not one for ties. LB likes, I like ties. I don't like ties. Like, we need a winner. We need to find out who's going to win. We need to play all kind of overtime to figure it out. And I'm not talking about 2 quarters of overtime or a whole quarter of overtime. I don't mind the college football version of overtime. I think that'll get you out the paint real quick. But listen, 7-7, the rubber hits the road this week, and we're about to really find out what you got, Kadeem.
Before we get to our takes, literally before we jumped on, I was listening to what's the opposite of a friend of the podcast? But I don't want to say enemy. Like, dude, you're muted, and that wasn't me this time.
See,
I did not mute that time.
See what happens when you get accustomed to muting somebody. You just mute them and don't let them talk at all.
Okay, do you know what? Hand on my heart. Yeah, I got a message just saying I couldn't unmute you because you muted yourself. I don't know if you coughed and muted yourself and didn't unmute yourself. That wasn't on me.
Are you finished? So I would say the opposite of a friend is an enemy. So if you want to do something in the middle, like I don't know, what's the word we come up with for who we talking about?
Sims.
Scatter the rest right tight.
Yeah.
F left. 372 Y stick Z spot. That Chris Sims. So I was just listening to that Chris Sims talk about how the Dolphins are lucky. On the 6-game win streak, we've been lucky. And he basically said that had Taysom Hill, the quarterback who's as accurate as Tua Tagovailoa, if he was in this game, he would have picked the Saints to beat the Dolphins like 14-10. But because it's not Taysom Hill, he's picked the Dolphins 13-10. And I'm just like, how does that make any sense? Like, you think that with Taysom Hill, the accurate quarterback who's as good as Tua is going to put up 14 points on this defense with no wide receivers. But you take out Taysom Hill, you put in a rookie quarterback, and they're going to put up 10 points. Now, like, to me, there's no logic. He said that the Dolphins' offense is okay. He gave props to the defense, but, you know, so I would just listen to that. I think a lot of people are picking the Dolphins to win this game, given who is on offense on the Saints. But for me, I think it's more a matter of it's a Saints defense, which the Dolphins are going to have to overcome. Can they move the ball enough downfield against a stout run defense? And Marlon Humphrey, if he's playing, the Saints. I think the Saints are 7-7 because their defense is, a very, very good defense in this league. I still think Tua, Jalen Waddle, Duke Johnson, Philip Lindsay, Mike Gesicki, I think all of them will have too much for the Saints. And I think on the other side of the ball, be it Trevor Siemian, be it Taysom Hill, be it Ian Book, I'm not worried about the Saints offense. Alvin Kamara worries me, but I still think the Dolphins have shut down better quarterbacks and offenses in this 6-game win streak that the Saints offense isn't something which we should be scared about. You think the Saints are going to go New England Patriots on them and only throw the ball 3 times and just give it to Kamara 40 times?
100%. Like, it's a situation where, this is... So, Coach Brian Flores said that, they're going to look at Ian Book from his college tape and what they saw with him at the Senior Bowl. The Dolphins had him at the Senior Bowl. So they will know roughly what he can and can't do. So for me, it's a matter of, Sean Payton is an offensive genius, but he also knows he can't have Ian Book sit back or drop back and throw 30, 40 times this game. It's going to be a very heavy run game, a lot of quick dump offs, a lot of, short screens, a lot of underneath routes, and trying to get the ball into the playmakers' hands. I don't know who the playmakers are going to be in this game. So I think if, just say the Dolphins want to match up Javon Holland against Alvin Kamara and say, he's yours all game. If they're going to dump it off, that's you. I don't know what Saints can throw at Miami. What do you think?
Allegedly, the Saints reached out to Drew Brees to try to bring him back from retirement, and they also reached out to. Go ahead.
Philip Rivers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we was interrupting people before they could get there. I'm just saying, like, allegedly, they reached out to retired quarterback, former Saint Drew Brees, and they also reached out to Philip Rivers, who had interest at the beginning of the year for playing with the New Orleans Saints. Do you want to cut me off before I continue? Kadeem, just let me know. Cool. So that being said, I don't think that the Saints go New England Patriots on them. But if you're a kid, bro, and this is your first NFL start, you want to come in and you want to prove somebody wrong, this is the opportunity. This is when you say, look, my team is in the playoffs, in the playoff race, and I'm about to play a Dolphins football team who has won 6 straight. No one really believes in me. They got Taysom. They had Jameis Winston started and Taysom Hill, the Swiss knife, and now I get to really come in and hopefully put my put up a little competition for the quarterback room. I don't know what Ian Book is going to do. I don't believe in Ian Book, but I gotta believe Ian Book believes in himself. And that being said, I need the front seven to come through and just take all that out the window. Like, just put so much doubt in this quarterback's head and everyone else around the league that right now, when we're going on this 7-game winning streak, it's like, oh, maybe the Dolphins are really, really worthy of a playoff seed. You know what I'm saying? Now, everyone's still going to have their excuses. Oh, Taysom Hill didn't play. Like, what that mean? Taysom Hill don't play defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, Taysom Hill does not play defense. Tua does not play against Taysom Hill. All right. So if this Saints team can shut out, let me be clear. If this Saints defense can shut out the Super Bowl champions and the quarterback that we do not speak of on this podcast, 9-0, what makes you think that we're not going to play against that same defense? Don't hit me with nothing about Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill did not kick 3 field goals. You know what I'm saying? So this has nothing to do with Taysom Hill. I do believe we have a chance to just give ourselves some confidence, even though we're already playing with confidence. And I remember there was one of the Miami Dolphin fan pages and all kind of update pages, and it was just a whole bunch of foolishness when we were 1-7 and 2-7, talking about, oh, we're not playing the same and we gave up and no one's having fun no more. They gave up on Flores. That's what they want. That's what they gave up on. Flores lost the locker room. Remember, Flores lost the locker room. So So don't switch it up now, because I never seen that before. I never felt like Flores lost the locker room. I never felt like they were dejected and just trying to get through the season. You know what I'm saying? So, bro. I believe this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a statement made. And what better time to do it than on Monday Night Football?
I might have to speak now.
I'm done. You're not cutting me off no more. I'm just saying.
I'm making sure that you don't have anything else to add. I'm trying to make sure that I apologize for cutting you off. That was very rude of me. As the host of Go Time Dolphins, Charlie Souchet. When you make a point, as you so welcome, you allow me to finish my points. I should do the same. So I apologize for that. Having a bit too much to drink on Christmas. So I apologize. Yeah. No, I think I definitely do agree with you, and I think there will be some people who I'm not putting negativity out there, but if this isn't if the Dolphins don't put up 40 points against this Saints team, everyone will be like, oh, so Tua can't do this. And it's like you said, did the Saints not just shut out Tom Brady and this all juggernaut Bucks team? So again, as we like to say here and everywhere else, keep up the same energy. But I think no, this is, given the way the results have fallen in the NFL, given this win streak, the Dolphins should take care of business on Monday. I believe the Dolphins will take care of business. So it's going to be an interesting game, but one of the Dolphins I am backing to win. So I think yeah, I just can't see how the Saints put up enough points to beat the Dolphins. I can see the defense alone putting up 10 points. So, I'll say 10 points. I'm talking like a pick six and then putting the Dolphins in field goal range and they might settle for a field goal, if that makes sense.
I feel you. The Dolphins are averaging 26 points per game and are 5-0 since Tua came back from injury. Now, we have this running theme on this show about anti-Tuas and pro-Tuas. I'm not really sure what the argument can be when Tua was out and we weren't playing the best. And when Tua came back, the defense still wasn't playing the best. Like the defense blew that Atlanta game as well as the Jacksonville game. So you give us one or two of those wins, and it's a whole different ball game. So I wonder what the narrative is going to be now when we go into New Orleans and we're in thick of things. I cannot wait. I'm just amped up, bro. I'll never forget laying in my, I don't want to call it a deathbed, but laying in my bed, like not being able to record with my dog, and all I heard was, "Yeah, we're out of the playoffs. We're done. We're not gonna make it. Clearly, we're not gonna make the playoffs." And I'm like, "Yo, if I had the energy to call y'all boys, you know what I'm saying, and the breath to be able to speak and articulate what is going on Go Time Dolphins, like I would have done it. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, we're not out of the playoffs until we are mathematically out of the playoff discussion. So how are we gonna get? What are the keys to victory, Kadeem? How are we gonna pull this off?
Well, it's going to be interesting because the one thing that Dolphins love, like as part of the 6-game winning streak, you've seen a lot of formations, or I think we're seeing it's the same formation showing up again and again and again, and it's the one where I believe it's a pistol formation where like Mike Gesicki is in kind of like a fullback role. You've got two under center, you've got a running back, you then got Albert Wilson on the right hand side of the formation, and he runs a motion, behind the offensive line, and then like basically up the seam. With Albert Wilson out on the COVID list, do Miami substitute a Jalen Waddle or Isaiah Ford in that role? Do they just kind of not use that formation at all? Because I think the one thing that formation allows is you immediately see if they're in man or zone. Obviously, if you see a DB or linebacker follow Wilson or whoever this is going to be, if he follows him, okay, they're in man. And if not, Wilson gets a clean break off the line of scrimmage because he's in motion. And if he's open, then Tua's going to hit him. If he's not open, then Gesicki in the flats or whatever it is. So I think the interesting thing is, do Miami stop using that formation, which has become very successful over the past few weeks? And I think also, who's your starting running back? Because the way Duke Johnson ran last game, he probably is going to be the starter. But you've got Philip Lindsay back, who when he played well. But you've also got friend of the podcast, Mars Gaskin, who last week showed why he'd been around for so long, had broken off of a nice big run. And again, over the past few weeks in that Wildcat formation, Gaskin has found success, especially in the red zone. So the Dolphins have a lot of questions at running back. Who's going to start? Who's going to get the majority of the snaps? And like I said, that Albert Wilson motion formation, do they replace him with a Jalen Waddle or Isaiah Ford? Or do they just not use it at all, which I think would be a massive shame.
Jalen Waddle chasing greatness. He missed the game, so I don't want to hear no. Oh, he had an extra game to break the record. So he's chasing the rookie record in the receptions. You're going to keep Jalen Waddle in the exact same role. No reason to, stir the hornet's nest, and just keep him in the same role. You'll put Isaiah Ford in Albert Wilson's role. And as far as, man, you just said something that I wanted to touch on. Oh, the running backs. What I think you do, if you remember when 40 Acres and a Hellcat, Myles Gaskin, missed a few games last year, Savon Ahmed came in and did fairly well. And we were like, oh, Savon Ahmed, boy, he looking good. He's just a little switch up. And there was a question of who's going to start, Ahmed or Gaskin. And they started Ahmed because he was the last thing you seen. You know what I'm saying? What have you done for me lately? So Ahmed was balling. Well, we played the Raiders, actually. And Ahmed was not as successful as we would have liked him to be. And then Myles Gaskin came in and showed us why he was the starting running back of the Miami Dolphins. And then had what he proclaimed on this podcast, Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. He said that was his most memorable game of his life. Not just career, like, that was the most memorable game he ever played in his life. So it's funny you say that. I don't know. We don't really know what the health is of Ahmed and Gaskin, right? We don't know if did they actually have COVID? Did they test positive and didn't have any symptoms? Because I, for one, having COVID, I understand like, yo, I don't see how someone could have COVID and 4 days later be on an NFL football field. You know what I'm saying? Although I'm not a world-class athlete, I gotta imagine it would have a toll. You know, it would take a toll, and you may not be 100%. So I think when he actually played, he ended up playing. He meaning Myles Gaskin ended up playing. I feel like he should be back to. We don't know if he has symptoms or not. He should be back to his where he was, like 100%. Well, actually, not even 100%. So he would have his legs under him, I should say. All that being said, we don't know for sure. I gotta imagine the Dolphins have a better feel for it. So whoever they go with, I'll be okay with. But don't get it twisted. I imagine we're gonna see split touches between a lot. It's gonna be committee for real. When the New England Patriots had 5 running backs dressed and all of them were getting significant touches, I think it's gonna be something similar to that. But you would like to see one of them take the majority. Like, you know what? Give me my spot. I earned this, and I want to be the. We may not ever have a bell cow, but you're gonna just say, "Hey, this is my position now. I'm the captain now." You ever seen that movie, Kadeem?
No.
All right.
No, but like I know the movie, like Tom Hanks, and
no surprise there.
The pirates, like the fingers. I am the captain now. I've seen the movie.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Never seen the movie.
Go ahead.
I actually think that guy might be Duke Johnson, and I think the one interesting thing will be against a stout, Saints defense. The difference could be, Duke Johnson breaking 1 or 2 tackles, stumbling forward for 3 or 4 yards. Again, you saw it a lot against the Jets. I think he had something like 8 carries where he broke a tackle. Like making guys. Oh, I think he had made 8 guys miss that game. Like a lot of his. I think his first touchdown run where there's like a still of the run, and there's no hole, there's nothing for him to get through, but he found a way. That second effort got him over the line. I think that could be the difference. That's not to say that Gaskin and Savon Ahmed can't break runs, but I think a lot of Dolphins fans. I think I raised it on the review of that last game. Johnson, for me and others, just ran a bit harder, ran a bit tougher. And I think in a game where, it could come down to a field goal with a few extra yards, I would not be surprised if Duke Johnson get the majority of the carries. And like you said, we don't know the state of Gaskin coming off the COVID list. Philip Lindsay is coming off the COVID list as well. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm speaking very fast. Apologies to the US listeners. I'm in the zone right now. But yeah, I think with Lindsay coming off the COVID list as well, I do think you might see a situation where it might be a lot more of Duke Johnson, and Myles Gaskin. What we could see as well with Albert Wilson, on the COVID list not playing this week, you might have Duke Johnson and Myles Gaskin in the backfield. We see Myles Gaskin motion out and line up in the slot or something like that. Again, to throw different looks at the Saints team, let's try and use all the weapons we have. So I think the one thing we've seen over the past few weeks is next man up. Isaiah Ford is really starting to come into his own. Matt Collins this season has started to come into his own. But with all these running backs, like you said, it's, a running back by committee, no real bell cow. Who's going to go out there and, do enough to get significant carries as the game continues?
I'm going to ask you a question, and I want your honest opinion. Shout out to Tua Tunga Vailoa, Tua Ningamana Ole Pola Tunga Vailoa, my dog. Shout out to Tua. Coming into this week, he had the highest completion percentage at 70 in the league, not the AFC, not the AFC East, in the league, Craig. But I got a question for you, Kadeem. We're not talking playoffs for the Dolphins, but how do you feel about the format? There's an extra team in the playoffs, right? So now there's 3 wild cards, 4 division winners, and a division winner with the highest, the best record gets a bye. Excuse me. How you feel about the playoff format? Do you think it needs to be changed? Do you like it where it's at? Because I got something I want to propose.
No, I don't. I don't like it. I think it's just the NFL's way to get an extra game, bit more money. I do agree with the whole, instead of giving two teams a bye, like best team in your division gets the bye. There's no prize for finishing second. If you're the second best record, good for you in the wild card. So I can kind of see why they might have done it if that was the thing, if that was the reason. I think the reason was just, hey, if we can get an extra wild card game, why not? Let's just make things a bit more complicated for the 2 seed, an extra game, extra money, extra TV deal. Enjoy yourself.
Hear me out, bro. So I don't mind one team having the bye. I actually kind of like it. Like, one team earned it. You in there. And I understand the logic of if you win your division, you should get a home game. I understand that logic. Here's my thing though, Kadeem. Everybody remembers when the Seahawks went 7-9 and they made the playoffs when there was other teams that had a better record, but it was just because their division was trash. So they went in the playoffs at 7-9. And I think more recently, there was another scenario. It might have been a year or two ago where I kind of want to say it was the Eagles that had 10 wins, and then the Seahawks had a worse record than the Eagles, and they got the home game. Something like that. You fact checking right now?
Yep.
Cool, my dog. So hear me out. This is what I got to say. I propose that only one team in the AFC, the team with the best record in the AFC, gets a bye. Then I also propose the team in the NFC with the best record, they get a bye. But after those two teams, I think it should be just best record in the NFL goes to the playoffs. Like, how are you going to have a playoff with teams who are not the best in the NFL? So, for example, how you got a playoff system where you have a 7-9 team in the playoffs, but you have all right, we got to change it up because it's an extra game now, right? So you have we'll call it an 8-9 team in the playoffs, and then you got a 10-7 team that did not make the playoffs, right? How is that possible for you to have a champion? Like, hey, we have our champion, even though this 10-7 team didn't get to make the playoffs, but a 7-9 team did. I don't understand that logic, but check me out. I'm saying that because the AFC is always tougher than the NFC, right? Always. You see teams in the NFC in the playoff hunt with 5 wins, 6 wins, right? And the AFC, it's a gauntlet. It's like the Roman Coliseum days. It's like Gladiator. Every man for themselves, and we just Miami Dolphins missed the playoffs by one win last year, right? Here's what I'm saying. Once the playoffs start, I believe it should just be one AFC team with a bye. Whoever has the best record, they should have a bye. And the team in the NFC has a bye as well with the best record. But I'm not talking about, you're talking about best record in the AFC. No, I'm not talking about best record in the AFC. I'm talking about in the entire NFL, whatever your record is, the best record in the NFL makes the playoffs. That's it. I'm not talking about nothing else. So that shakes it up a lot. And there's no more division winners. Yet, obviously, if you win your division, you're most likely going to the playoffs. So forget all that 7-9 team can make the playoffs, but 11-5 team doesn't get in. You see what I'm saying? I don't like that. And I think it needs to be like taken to the committee. And matter of fact, I'm gonna say it on this podcast a lot more around playoff season moving forward now that we got our own platform. How you feel about that?
So very quickly, the 2019 season, the Eagles won their division with a 9-7 record. So you got the 49ers won the West 13-3. The Green Bay won the North 13-3. The Saints won the South 13-3. The Eagles won the East 9-7. And then the 2 wildcard teams, Seattle 11-5, the Vikings 10-6. And yeah, Seattle played Philadelphia but the game was played at Lincoln Field, and it's just like, yeah, you had a winning record, but we had a better record than you, and yet we're the away team. In the end, Seattle won that game. So if it's that season you're talking about, then I kind of see where you're coming from. I haven't been able to find a season in which
it was it might have been before you were watching football, to be honest. It was maybe 2009-ish, something like that. Who won the Seattle won the division, and they were only 7-9 winning the division. You could probably Google that. Seattle wins the division at 7-9. So yeah, even in the scenario that you just pulled up, what happened?
So I'm typing into Google Seattle wins division, and then Google finished it at 7-9. 2010.
I said 2009. I kind of know my stuff. I kind of know my stuff. So I said 2009.
I'm pretty sure that was before me. If you give me 2 seconds, I can quickly find out the exact NFL 2010 season. We have so I've lost it. No, I haven't. Yes. Okay. So Seattle won the division 7-9. The wild cards were the Saints at 11-5 and Green Bay at 10-6. And then in the playoffs, Seattle played the Saints and won 41-36.
Give me a second though, Kadeem. Riddle me this. Can you see who did not make the playoffs in the AFC and the NFC that had a record better than 7-9? But did not make the playoffs. Can you see that? What teams were left out?
So in the AFC, we had the Chargers 9-7, and then the Jags and the Raiders were 8-8, and then Miami were 7-9. Unlucky there. And then in the NFC, the Giants and the Bucks both finished 10-6.
Listen, I'm dead serious, bro. How do you determine a champion if your best teams are not in the playoffs? You see what I'm saying? So I think they want to credit. They want to give, hey, you won your division. You won your division. You won your division. NFC East been the NFC least for the past 20 years. You know what I'm saying? It's been the easiest division in football for the past at least 15. All right. So I don't like the concept of the NFC East getting in by 8-8 forever and ever, amen. And they don't have to do nothing but beat sorry teams. You see what I'm saying? So very quickly,
you think it should be the best 6 teams in that conference, regardless
I think it's more than 6 now. It's 14, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying from each side. So the best 7 in this case. So say the AFC have 7 teams with a winning record, and 4 of them come from the AFC North. All 4 in. There you go. Doesn't matter if.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think that might get complicated if you get a situation where you get. But no, I guess that's what tiebreakers are for. I know some people, and I know this is Go Time Dolphin. We will get back to that. I know some people have argued, well.
Hold on, I gotta cut you off. My bad. The reason we're discussing it is because the Dolphins have been on the tail end of this, where we're 10-6 and we didn't get in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like this is Go Time Dolphins, but at the same time, this I feel like this really needs to be fixed. But go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna say I know. So again, looking at last season, for instance, where the Dolphins missed out on 10-6, and then you got. So last season, the perfect example. The Dolphins missed out in the AFC with 10-6, and yet Washington win the division at 7-9. It's like
that's my point.
And then obviously you've got, the wild cards were the Bucks 11-5, who end up winning the Super Bowl. The Rams at 10-6, and the Bears at 8-8. But I think even at 8-8, I'm like, do you really deserve to make the playoffs? Like that's just you're mediocre. I've got a son. I'm gonna raise my son, and something me and his mom argue about. I'm like, if you don't finish first, we're not celebrating you playing. Like I'll say well done, but I'm not giving you a trophy for finishing second you get them school races where I don't know if you have sports day in the States. In the UK we have every year in school you have a sports day. You have.
I forgot what they call it. But we have that.
Yeah, and you have your 100-meter race, or obviously you're not having kids 100 meters.
Yeah.
You have your sprints, and then
I think it's called field day.
Yeah.
I think it's
So
called
then,
field day.
and then the winner gets the sticker first, second gets a sticker second, third gets a sticker third, and everyone else gets well done. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a sticker. I'm not, like, no, you don't get a sticker for that.
Hey, listen, you did good, but you got some work you got to do, and we can't celebrate until you get there.
Yeah. So I'm of the belief, if you don't win, I'm not celebrating that achievement. And I kind of feel that 7-9 records, 8-8 records isn't celebrating and making the playoffs. No, we're not celebrating you having a bad season.
So I'll be fair, Kadeem. NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, right? These are the major of the 4 sports here in the United States. The NFL, the parity in the NFL is as good as it gets in all of the 4 major sports in the United States. Meaning you can have the worst team and turn that team around faster than any other league in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, that means the draft system is set up right. The way your free agency is set up, that means the NFL is doing something right, because the parity in the league, look where it's at now. The New England Patriots were first 2 weeks ago. Now they're on the way to not making the playoffs in 2 weeks, right? So the parity is where it's supposed to be. So you're gonna have seasons where the whole conference may be around 9-7-ish, but that just means it's tough, right? And what you were saying was, obviously, if you just trash and there's 5 teams that are 12 wins plus and you're at 7-9, that's a problem. And I believe that's a problem. So I don't want to hammer this on too much, because I'm bringing it up a few more times on this podcast. But I'm gonna be real with you. And even in the way I see the playoff format, you won't call it the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship no more, because it won't be AFC versus NFC. It'll just be the best 14 teams in the playoffs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to make the playoffs, and it could be 4 teams from the NFC made the playoffs, and 10 teams from the AFC made the playoffs. But it'll be the best 14 teams in the NFL for you to get an NFL champion. I don't see how you have a championship without having the best 14 teams in the tournament. But let's get into No Huddle, bro.
So for No Huddle this week, putting out these. I've got brand new headphones, brand new gaming headphones, which mean I've got brand new Coach K headphones. Maybe make sure they fit my big head.
Coach K.
Brand new Coach K headphones. Little brand new hat, brand new Coach K. Here we go.
This guy's living a dream.
Of course I am. Dude, it's Christmas. Bringing out all the new shiny toys. So the injury report on Saturday. The Dolphins are good. Anyone that was on the injury report: Jesse Davis, Brandon Jones, Philip Lindsay, Adam Shaheen, Zach Sealer, and True Williams, all 4 participants on Saturday. For the Saints, they had Teron Armstead, Marcus Davenport, and Traquan Smith all questionable for the game on Monday. The interesting thing is when you look at the COVID list. So, as we mentioned earlier, the Dolphins have Albert Wilson on the COVID list, but they also have Albert Wilson that's added to Justin Coleman, Duke Riley, Greg Mance, Robert Jones, Stephen Carter, and Lynn Bowden. But Lynn Bowden, obviously, out for the season as it is. When they come to the Saints and their COVID list, deep breath. Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, Malcolm Jenkins, Demario Davis, Ryan Ramczyk, Caden Ellis, James Carpenter, Jordan Mills, Jeff Heath, Christian Ringo, Jalen Holmes, Adam Troutman, Juwan Johnson, JT Gray, and Dwayne Washington. Listen, this is going to be a case of the Saints need to put out, just 22 guys and just see what they can get out. And if anyone goes down with injury, didn't they sign Blake Bortles to back up Ian Book?
No, I thought Blake Bortles played today. Oh, Blaine Gabbert, I think, played today in Tampa. I'm not sure where Blake Bortles is. But man, I kind of feel like I'm better than Blaine Gabbert and Blake Bortles, to be honest with you.
So yeah, Blake Bortles was with the Packers, but the Saints signed him up to back up Ian Book on Monday. So do we see a bit of Blake Bortles on Monday? Who knows? I didn't do I didn't get my
weather report.
Honestly, totally forgot.
You're all right. They're playing in a dome, so you get a pass.
Yeah, but Celsius Fahrenheit, I kind of feel like it's needed, even if they play
it's a dome. It's an air condition. Oh, y'all call it Acon, right? Aircon or something like. What y'all call it, air condition?
Yeah, we call it air conditioning, but yeah, aircon. Like again, like it's very rare you go somewhere because so basically we have fans. We have like fans on our desks, or because it's cold most of the year.
You still in Coach K mode, Kadeem?
Yeah, like dude, it's no huddle. We're still talking. Like because it's cold 24/7. We don't really see the point in having aircon. Although at my mum's, my dad's got his own office, and his office has aircon, and it's amazing. Like it's life. But yeah.
So we call it AC. So listen, hold on. It's always y'all don't have like the summer isn't hot over there?
Over the past few years, it's been really, really hot.
What is really, really hot?
I think we've been getting like 30 degrees. But again, I think like the thing is with UK really, really hot, it's more like it's muggy, it's sticky. Like we don't get like there's no breeze, there's no cloud. So when it gets really, really hot, and because we're not used to it, it's horrible. I think the closest thing I can describe it as is literally like you are at Hard Rock Stadium, you're the away team, and you've got the sun just beating down with you.
You can't use it because you don't know what that feels like, bro. That's like 120 degrees, bro. Like that is you're not ready for that smoke. But look, let me get in the no huddle on my side, man. Listen, you're playing in your championship game in fantasy football, and you need guarantees. You need go-tos. You need to just smack this week. You know what? We kind of missed it because it's a Monday night game. So I guess I can't help you out with your fantasy league. I kind of forgot about that. So if had this been a Fins Up Friday, I would have been able to help you guys out. But yeah, you should have just share, like, and subscribe and follow me on Twitter. And I probably would have it just hit me up in my DM. I would have helped you out. But I guess I don't have no huddle on my end, Kadeem.
Okay, so very quickly, so 30 degrees Celsius, it says 86 degrees Fahrenheit. How hot is that? Is that just like a normal Monday afternoon, or
on everything I love, Kadeem? That is a normal day in South Florida. Like that is a normal day in South Florida. So 86 degrees Fahrenheit is a normal day in South Florida. It's the everyday weather. A nice day when we say, "Oh, it's nice outside." Nice is like a 72 degree Fahrenheit day. So I know, put you in your little calculator what 72 degrees Fahrenheit is in Celsius, and that's a nice day. Like, oh, this feels really good. This is nice. The wind's blowing, the trees are swaying. It's palm trees. You kind of feel like you're on an island, but it's a peninsula, maybe. Anyone who caught that from Andre 3000. But yeah, so that's a nice day. So a hot day for us in Florida, man. Even 98 degrees is hot, but it's not. We're dying here. I don't think there's ever I'm not going outside type of day, because we do have a breeze, but it's the humidity that really smacks you in the face. So 86 degrees, man. That's an everyday over here.
So that was 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. On the 18th of July 2021, we had a heat wave, and apparently a record temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. That was record temperature.
That's a record. But hey, you might melt in Florida, bro. You might melt. Bring your swim trunks, bro. Like, cause it's hot over here, man. It gets hot over here.
I think that was like the hottest day of 2021. So I'm looking at stories, and it's like on the 14th of June, Monday top temperature was reached like 28.6 degrees Celsius. And again, I remember people just going, "Yo, it's hot." Like that when it gets to 30 degrees, like I'm just like windows open, shorts, t-shirt, or like a basketball top, and just moving around London's horrible. But again, it's because we don't like there's no sea breeze. There's no. It's just hot. It's nasty.
I ain't gonna lie. That's the workout. That's the workout weather. That's when you go topless and go run around the street and just to get your cardio up. That's what I'd be doing when I was ready to go to London to take my PS5 from you. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to see me topless, dude. Like it's not something you want to see. So for me, it's I'm still wearing a big Dolphins jersey. I'm trying to be topless in the street. Like I'm just not doing it.
All right, man. Hey, listen. Come on over to bonus time with us. It's Fins Up Monday. Well, yeah, it's Fins Up Monday. We about to come home with this W. It's go time, man. Like we it's clutch time right now. We're playing significant football games and relevant football games once again. No one thought we would be here once again, but here we are. Y'all stay positive. Oh, shout out to Miami Heat announcer Eric Reed. If you know Eric Reed from the Miami Heat, the announcer, kaboom! Y'all know the voice of the Miami Heat. Voice of the Miami Heat just ran with it on Twitter and just took our stay positive, test negative, and just ran with it. Couldn't even shout us out. But home of the four-time world champions, Miami Heat, y'all could do that. I would have just appreciated a shout out if you're gonna run with our stuff. But shout out to Eric Reed for taking our stay positive, test negative. Stay.
And Josh Kasker for pointing it out.
Shout out to same old Dolphins, Josh Kasker, for pointing it out and bringing that to our attention, man. But listen, y'all stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Bit of postseason free agency talk or trade talk, I guess.
Let me put this in real quick. Friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, over the last 3 games, 76 overall grade. That's 12th in the league. 113 pass block snaps over the past 3 games. 2 pressures allowed, 0 sacks given. Friend of the podcast. Go ahead.
No, I think I believe like Liam Eichenberg over the past few days or past few weeks has played again amazing. It's something brought up after the Jets game. We were talking about how the defensive line has played really well the past few weeks, but it doesn't mean we're gonna keep the same 5 next year because we can improve. But definitely shout out to a friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, for his improved play. Actually, which is we mentioned Solomon Kinley being on the COVID list. Who's going to be the 6th man on Monday? Because with Kinley out and Greg Manx out, and I believe we cut Cameron Tom, didn't we? And I don't think we picked him back up.
I mean, I'm sure they're gonna. What's and Jones is out too.
Yeah. Is Lano Coleman being activated?
I don't know. Well, we'll know tomorrow when we get the actives and inactives.
Yeah.
We'll find out for tomorrow.
So yeah, so my thing. So this is again postseason, but I know a lot of people want us to get a running back and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are and were your thoughts of James Robinson, the Jags running back?
James Robinson is undrafted. You got to be happy for someone who is undrafted and comes in and just tears the place up. Unfortunate that he went down with an Achilles injury today, man. It's sad because he doesn't even get paid anything, bro. The man probably gets paid, and I'm not looking at anything. If I had to guess, less than he probably gets a couple $100,000 to play football in the NFL. Undrafted. So for him to tear an Achilles now, he's not going to see a contract. He's not going to see one of those, hey, I'm in my 4th year at the NFL. Can I get like my $5 million a year? You know what I'm saying? He probably wouldn't have never made it more than 6, 7, 8. But now with a Achilles, it's unfortunate, man. My heart goes out to the kid. Since we're on running backs and free agents and talking about the offseason, what did you have against about James Robinson, Kadeem?
Well, no, it was more. I've seen a lot of Dolphins fans saying, the Dolphins should trade for James Robinson in the offseason. But obviously, with his ACL injury,
I thought it was Achilles.
Achilles, so yeah, with his Achilles injury, I don't know if that puts a stop to that, because I guess he won't be fully fit and healthy until training camp.
Bro, do you remember pre-draft, pre-free agency? I said, what do you think about these 2 running backs? And to sign them both in Miami this year. I said we should sign 2 running backs this year to Miami and have running back by committee instead of going out for the one big running back or going into the draft seeing if we could get our guy. I said we should sign 2 running backs. Do you remember what the 2 running backs were?
I'm afraid not. No.
It's cool. One day we're going to have the technology and the patience and the time to go back in our old archives, and then I could flash back and say, oh, Charlie Touche did say that. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there. But I said the Dolphins should sign Leonard Fournette and James Conner. I said we should sign them both. And, Kadeem has his dislike about Leonard Fournette. Personal, I get it. And I was like, yo, James Conner is serviceable. Look at how well both of them played this year. You know what I'm saying? So this was before free agency, before the draft. I like, man, I go get both of them. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't happen. So this year, no, we're not gonna go after undrafted free agent that tore in the Achilles, bro. We're not doing that. And this is how I feel about football, bro. You're supposed to be able to find running backs.
Yeah.
Like running backs don't grow on trees, but they grow on bushes. Like you should be able to find them. You know what I'm saying? Like same thing with receivers. The 2 positions, to me, in my opinion, that are the easiest to find in football are running backs and receivers. Run the route, catch the ball. Get separation, don't get tackled. You know what I'm saying? Hold the ball. Don't break a tackle, don't fumble the ball. That's the first thing you learn when you're a child and you put a football in your hand is to run the ball, bro. So these boys been running the ball all their lives, and you can't find a running back. I don't believe that. I don't believe in investing $20 million in a running back either. I don't believe that either. It's nice if you had a Dalvin Cook. It's nice if you had an Alvin Kamara, but you got to draft Jonathan Taylors. And then when rubber hits the road, when you get to the bridge of 5 years down the line, you have to have that conversation. Same thing with like a Saquon Barkley. Dog can't stay healthy. I'd rather be in a Saquon Barkley conversation and see what you can pay for him as opposed to a James Robinson conversation with a Achilles. No, bro. Like, I'm not doing that. And then lose capital over that? No, I'm good. Man. But I will say this. Me and LB were talking just yesterday, actually. So it's funny you asked these questions. And I was going to wait till the offseason to say it. But since we're here, I'll say it now. And it might not be the popular opinion, but if the Dolphins keep Devontae Parker again, for whatever reason, you're going to need a number 2. We don't know if we're going to go Will Fuller, right? But on the opposite side of Devontae Parker, you're going to need Will Fuller, Emmanuel Sanders, McKenzie from Buffalo. He's on his way out. Like, I can see McKenzie taking Albert Wilson's role for cheap money. But if you're gonna have Matt Collins and Preston Williams come back for $1 million a piece, or maybe $2 million a piece, I don't know what what they'll be happy with. But it can't be no more than that if you're Preston Williams. No one's gonna pick you up, Preston. Like 50% drop rate, and you always hurt. But since you've been in the building, we know what you got. I don't think you're a nuisance to the locker room, as far as I know. So yeah, you bring her back 1 year, pennies. Let's see what you got this year. Prove it. But you have to upgrade, bro. For Brian Flores, I always say we're always looking to get better. How come we're not getting better then? You know what I'm saying? At least at the number 2. And I want to be very clear. Jalen Waddle is the best receiver on the football team. We know this. And the reason why he's not considered a number 1, because he primarily plays the slot. Yes, he may be the number 1 option, but we're talking about X's and Y's. You know what I'm saying? That's what we mean as a number 1 and number 2. So yeah, Jalen Waddle is always going to be 100 reception receiver. He's always going to be the go-to. But on the outside of hashes, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So if we go Preston Williams and Matt Collins next year, which I do not believe we should upgrade. And we tried to upgrade with Will Fuller this year, but we didn't. But if you go Preston Williams and Matt Collins, I say, and it's not popular, but I say you go and pick up 34-year-old AJ Green, because he's going to be a free agent and he's going to play for $2 million. And it's like, yo, we're a playoff team. We need a big body on the outside, possession receiver on the outside. We have Matt Collins and Preston Williams. You telling me 34-year-old AJ Green for $2 million can't perform better than them? Not saying that Matt Collins is playing bad, but I think Tua will make a 34-year-old AJ Green better, because all you have to do is get an accurate quarterback. That's just my opinion. He's not my primary get, believe me. You know what I'm saying? We end up with AJ Green to start over Preston Williams and Matt Collins. We already did something wrong in free agency and the draft. 100%. So but I think that is the option. And I know we're just touching the surface on free agency, but I think now is the time where you say, well, I don't think Parker's the dude. And let's see what Odell wants. Let's see what Allen Robinson wants. Michael Thomas for the Saints is going to be on the cap for $25 million for the Saints cap. That's what he's on the cap for. And we just seen Kenny Golladay get 18 a year. I got to imagine Allen Robinson is going to come around that 18 number. I don't know if I'm ready to pay Allen Robinson 18 type of money. But Odell already got his deal. Odell already got paid. And I don't think Odell will come in at 18. So I think you have to entertain Odell Beckham Jr. You replace Parker with him, and now you go get a number 2 like a Emmanuel Sanders, or you keep Will Fuller on the opposite of Odell. Now let's just call it Odell, Will Fuller, Waddle, Gesicki. I think that's a nice little get down. And you can still add AJ Green if you want it, or Preston Williams, or however you want for depth. But that's where I'm at. Yeah,
definitely. I think Miami needs to work out how to get these amazing receivers in the second round. Like, I just don't know how to. Doesn't happen. That's the first thing. Second thing is the Dolphins elevated Cameron Tom from the practice squad on Christmas Eve, so he's probably the 6th man.
That's probably why he missed it too, because it was Christmas Eve.
Yeah. But yeah. So no, I think listen, there's plenty of time for off season to preseason, free agency, all that kind of stuff. I think it's a lot of it will center on not just Monday's game, but the next 2 games. If the Dolphins are playing meaningful football in January, and beyond, they might be like, you know what, we are like this close, so close. For everyone listening on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from, talking inches. We are so close away from winning the division and making a meaningful run in the playoffs. Maybe we do go and get a true alpha wide receiver, and one that's under 29. And I say that so we don't get Antonio Brown.
That's wild.
But no, wow. But I joke and I jest, but at the same time, it's like you go and get yourself a bad boy wide receiver who can grow and develop with Tua. So it's not we're throwing an egg in the basket for one season. This is it's like we've said from the moment we drafted Tua. While you're still paying Tua rookie money, you build the pieces around him. You've built that defense around, on all the money on that side. You put some money on the offense, and you probably start with re-signing Mike Gesicki, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, you got to sign Mike Gesicki, but it's funny how AJ Green is going to cost $1 million or $2 million, and Antonio Brown is only going to cost $3 million. I'm just saying, but you said something, and yeah, we'll get into all the offseason because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about for the offseason, free agency, and what we do with the line and whatnot. But hey, man, y'all know what time it is.
Also, very, very quickly before we do shut off, obviously it's a Monday Night Football game, which means it will be a primetime podcast. A primetime episode is a primetime podcast. I ain't sleeping that much Monday night. We'll record the moment that game finishes. We'll record. We'll try and get it out straight away. But if I'm looking tired and beat up, it's because it's probably gonna be recording at 5 a.m. And my word, I would have worked 8-hour shift.
Hey, so, we might be able to record during the game.
What are you thinking?
Look at y'all getting the behind the scenes on what we're gonna do for the Monday night game. I mean, I guess y'all just have to tune in to find out. Well, I guess they don't have to tune in. It's not gonna be live, so it's up to you, Kadeem. We'll figure it out.
But cool. Peace.